So another EDC video. I did one 6 months ago. I have added a few things, taken away a few things. This is primarily my travel EDC. So the products I would usually like to take with me when I'm traveling. There are a few familiar products, but there are also quite a few unfamiliar products that will hopefully give you inspiration for your EDC. So I currently have two bags that I switch between depending on what I need. I have the Grams 28 Transit backpack, and then I have the new Grams 28 Voyager duffel bag. I've had this Transit backpack for quite a few months now. It's become my main backpack for a few reasons. Build quality and materials are of course top quality, as it's made from full grain leather, which is the best grade of leather, by the way. The best leather products in the world are usually made from full grain leather. And when taken care of properly, this type of leather can last up to 30 years, which is wild, to be honest. What I also like about full grain leather is that it patinas over time, so it can look quite unique. There's also a separate laptop compartment, which is ideal because I like to make sure that my laptop is separate from everything else and it has good enough padding to protect it. And of course, there's an abundance of pockets and zippers to organize your belongings. This new Voyager duffel bag is a new one that I recently got, and it's perfect for the sort of weekend getaway or when I need to carry camera gear with me. It's exactly the same as the backpack when it comes to build quality and the leather, so it's definitely built to last. Like I said, I see this more as a weekend bag, but it can of course be used for an everyday carry. There's two compartments. The main compartment is for larger belongings. I currently have the camera cube set in here, which is sold separately, by the way. It doesn't actually come with this bag, but you do get a separate included packing cube. There's a dedicated laptop compartment, which again is nice to have. There's also a separate pocket for an iPad, and you can sort of put charging cables and stuff in here as well. Again, an abundance of pockets and zippers to organize everything. I also particularly like that there is a dedicated pocket for valuables like a passport, and there's a luggage pass-through to put on top of a suitcase. The camera cube set, which I currently have in the duffel, which is sold separately, is perfect for if you have cameras. So I know that when I'm going on a camera shoot, I can put my camera gear in here inside the duffel, and the duffel can basically be my camera bag. So make sure to check out these products from Grams 28. I will leave a link down in the description below. So I currently have two MacBooks that I switch between depending on the trip that I'm going on. So if I know I'm going to be working quite a bit, I'm going to be doing video editing, some heavy stuff, then of course I have the 14-inch MacBook Pro. This has the new M4 Max chip in it, 36 gigabytes of unified memory and a 4 terabyte SSD. This thing is a beast. I love the size of it. It's just a perfect machine for the work that I do, especially when I do heavy work. However, when I know I'm just going on a short trip, or I'm going on some sort of vacation, or just a trip that's going to be a bit more relaxed, I'm not doing anything heavy, I will actually take the new M4 Air with me. This is a 13-inch M4 Air, and I absolutely love this machine. The thinness, the lightness, the size of it, the capability of the M4 chip, and now that it comes with 16 gigabytes of unified memory as standard, this is just a sick machine. This is such a good machine that I would just recommend to most people if they're not doing anything heavy like video editing or photo editing. If you're a developer or a designer or anything like that, this is a more than capable enough machine to handle pretty much everything. It blows my mind how good the chip is in this. So yeah, I have the luxury of being able to choose between two MacBooks, but like I said, whichever one I choose really depends on the type of trip it is. Next up is the iPhone 16 Pro, and I also have the Nomad leather case on it. The Nomad leather case, you can see, has actually aged quite a bit. It's got quite a bit of patina on it because it's real leather. The iPhone 16 Pro, of course, like, I don't think I really need to go in depth into the iPhone 16 Pro. I've done reviews and stuff on it, but iPhone 16 Pro, the reason why I just keep coming back to the iPhone and using the iPhone when it compared to sort of other devices, is just because of how easy it is to use the camera, to take fantastic pictures with the camera. It's just become my main way to take pictures and videos whenever I go anywhere, which also sort of leads me on to my Fujifilm X100 So I bought this nearly a year ago now, and I'll be honest, it doesn't get as much usage as it probably should. It's an absolutely fantastic camera. It's so good. It's just incredible what this is capable of. And it's really compact. Like you can see, it's quite compact. And what I really like about it as well is that it's almost like a fashion accessory. Like when you have it on, like I feel like it just looks wicked. Like it looks like such a stylish bit of kit on you. And of course it takes incredible pictures. The larger sensor, the sharpness of it, the way it takes the pictures, the sort of Fujifilm recipes that it has where you can have different looks to your JPEGs and stuff. It just makes it such a special camera. I'll be honest though, I don't use the recipes much. I actually just prefer to shoot it raw, which is probably doing this camera a disservice because one of the main reasons people buy it is for those recipes. But for me, I like it because of the type of pictures it takes. Knowing that I can take really high quality pictures when I travel, when I go on trips and stuff, and bring them into Lightroom and just have them forever, because that's the reason why I love taking pictures. It's like memories, isn't it? That's one of the main reasons most people take pictures. But because the iPhone camera has gotten so good and it takes such good pictures and they're 48 megapixel, I'm not carrying this with me as much as I should. So next up is a pretty big change to my everyday carry, and that is the iPad. So if you guys have seen my other everyday carries, I am a die-hard iPad mini fan, specifically the iPad mini. The iPad mini for me, I think, is pretty much near enough the perfect iPad. However, that has recently changed because the iPad mini hasn't really seen any major updates. So I have fully switched over to the M4 iPad Pro, which is just an unbelievably good iPad. Like, I feel like I've been sleeping on this thing. It is so good. And there are a few reasons as to why it's so good. The main reason is, of course, the screen. This has a tandem OLED screen, which makes it so bright. It's like double the brightness when you're sort of browsing compared to the iPad mini, but it can also go up to 1600 nits of brightness when you're watching HDR content. So when I load HDR movies and stuff onto here, being able to watch them in sort of 1600 nit glory on a tandem OLED display when I'm on a flight or whatever, it's such a good experience. Like, the iPad mini just doesn't come close, unfortunately. If they brought the same display to the iPad mini, I would have stuck with the iPad mini. I just prefer the form factor. This also, of course, has better battery life because it's bigger. And my iPad mini had 64 gigabytes of storage. This has 256 gigabytes of storage. And because of that, I can store a lot more movies, a lot more TV shows on it. I can have a catalog of stuff that I can just watch whenever I want to. So when I'm going on trips and stuff, yeah, this has become now my main iPad. It's also ridiculously thin. Like, I feel like no video, no picture does this thing justice as to how thin it is. I feel like it feels impossibly thin when it's in your hand. It's solid, doesn't feel like it's going to break, but it's just wild how thin and light this thing is. This is, of course, the 11-inch version. I feel like I'm just waving it around. It's just so light, so thin. I would highly recommend this thing. Of course, with the M4 chip in here as well, it's ridiculously powerful. It blows my mind. There's an M4 chip in this thing, in this laptop. These both have the same chips. Like, that's crazy to me. I don't understand how Apple are doing this. So yeah, this also makes it much easier to edit photos. When I'm editing photos in Lightroom, it just powers through them, no problem. The case that I'm using is this OtterBox case that I picked up from Amazon. I was just looking for a simple case that would let me do things like, you know, stand it up. I could stand the iPad up like so. It also lets you, so obviously it protects the whole iPad, which is nice, but it also lets you take off the front cover, which might sound crazy because why wouldn't you always want to protect the screen? But sometimes when I'm using my iPad and I feel like this is just flapping around, it's just nice to be able to take it off. So next up is this Anker power bank. I think this has actually become my recent most favorite product. And you might be thinking, why? Like, it's just a power bank. What's so special about a power bank? What I love about this isn't necessarily just because it's a power bank, it's the convenience it provides. And that convenience is the fact that it has two cables built in. So you have this strap like this, right? To hold the battery bank. It's a very strong strap, but what it also is a charging cable. So it literally just slides out like so, and you have a USB-C charging cable. Not only that, you have another USB-C charging cable in the top here, and it just slides out like so. Well, rolls out, pulls out. I don't even know why I'm saying slide out, but yeah, another cable right there. So I have two USB-C cables here to charge any devices without actually having to go through my bag and find a cable. And both of the cables are compact, they're hidden away. I don't have to worry about any sort of cable management. And then there's also two more USB ports on the side, a USB-A and a USB-C. So this thing is just an absolute savior for me, because when I'm on a flight and I want to charge my devices, I know I can charge two devices at pretty much the full charging speed that they can accept, because this delivers up to 165 watts of power, which is more than powerful enough to charge a MacBook, to charge your phone, your iPad, or whatever accessory you might have. There is also a little display on the front to show you how much battery life you've got left. And of course, when you plug it in, it also shows you how much power you're using. So the screen changes to show you how much power it's outputting, and it shows you for all of the ports how much power they're using. This battery bank for me is just so worth the money. I don't really see how you can get a better battery bank than this right now. It's going to take a lot to beat it. I do also have this MagSafe charging back, which of course is a lot more pocket friendly for my iPhone. So if I know I'm going to be out for the day, being able to have this, carry it around and be able to charge my phone on the go, very useful. So I have a pouch here, which has a very unique use case. This pouch is never designed to be unpacked or used at home. It is only designed to be unpacked and used when on a trip. So the idea is that this pouch has everything that I need to charge my devices, cables, plugs, whatever I need for when I'm traveling. So when I unpack it, I have 2 different USB cables in here. This is a USB-A to USB-C. Sometimes when I'm on a trip and I'm hiring a car, I need to use Apple CarPlay. This is what this cable is for pretty much. I also have another cable here. This is another Anker product. So USB-C on one end, and then dual USB-C on the other end. So it's basically a 2-in-1 for me, but I can also use it with the next accessory that's in here, which is a travel adapter, a multi-travel adapter. So I have everything in here so I can sort of find any plug that I need to. And of course, anything can go in the front here. But what it also has is 3 USB-C ports and a USB-A port. And altogether, it can output 120 watts. So super useful. I can use it to charge all of my devices and plug anything in, all in this one brick. And then I also have the MagSafe Duo to charge my phone and my Apple Watch. If you like to use the in-flight entertainment on a flight, I also have this. So this is called the AirFly. You plug it into the headphone jack on your seat, on your screen, whatever it might be, and then you can connect your AirPods to it. So you can use your AirPods without having to use the crappy headphones that I usually have on flights. Just a very useful little accessory. I always have it with me. It always stays in my bag. My current earbuds are the AirPods Pro. So these are the latest ones, apart from these don't have USB-C, so I guess they're not the latest ones, but yeah, they're the latest ones. So when I'm traveling, I usually used to use the AirPods Max. But I found that the AirPods Max for me, even though they have amazing sound quality, amazing noise cancellation, better than these, the problem with them is that they're just a bit too bulky and a bit too big, and they don't fold down. And I've realized these basically do 80 to 90% of what the AirPods Maxes do in a much more compact package. Of course, the battery life isn't as good, the sound quality isn't as good, the noise cancellation isn't as good. But considering usually I'm using the AirPods Max on a flight or something like that, do I need the best sound quality? Obviously, the noise cancellation would be great to have that level of noise cancellation, but you know, I'm not watching stuff and I'm not listening to stuff with the sense of I want the absolute best experience on a flight, because you're just not going to have the best experience on a flight. So what am I doing? I'm making a mess. So I've kind of just compromised and realized, okay, these do 80 to 90% of what the AirPods Maxes do. Let's just stick with these and not carry around the AirPods Max anymore. My current card holder of choice is the Goyard card holder. Very simple, very classy. I love the look of it, love the leather, I love the design of it. I just love the look of Goyard products right now. Of course, it's like the trending thing right now, but I really do like the style of them. I also have this Air card, which usually sits in one of my bags. It's basically just a credit card form of an AirTag, and it's also much louder than an AirTag. And with it being this sort of credit card format, I can put it in a pocket somewhere in a bag and I know it's going to be secure. I'm still wearing the Apple Watch Series 10. This is the 42mm in slate titanium. I also have the Slate Link bracelet, so the new Slate Link bracelet. And yeah, I've been wearing it for 6 months now and it's been absolutely solid. A few comments in my original unboxing, people were saying that it has a different coating, which means it scratches up more easily. I have found that there aren't that many scratches on it. There are a few here and there, but they're very, very subtle. I can barely see them unless I'm obviously looking at them under the light. But over the last 6 months that I've been wearing it, well, actually more than 6 months now that I think about it, I've had it for a little while. I think I've had it since its release pretty much. Yeah, this Slate Link bracelet looks really, really good. It's held up really, really well. I love the look of this. I just think it makes the Apple Watch look a lot smarter. I still do have my other watches, my other fancy watches, but everyday sort of wear, I usually wear the Apple Watch. I usually just wear my other fancy watches when I'm sort of doing something fancy, whether it be going out for dinner, going out somewhere, going to a wedding or whatever it might be. Another recent addition is the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. I really like the case for these, by the way. They come in a really nice brown leather case. This is such a classy looking case. Anyway, I recently bought these because I went around the track. I thought to myself, what's the best way to record myself around the track? without having to use a GoPro or something. And these just made a lot of sense. Yeah, they sort of sit in the case, they come out like so, they charge in the case as well. These are the transition lenses one, the matte black pair. So yeah, when I put them on, I think they look pretty good. Obviously they're quite big, mainly because, especially the stems, they're quite big, but obviously it needs all of the hardware for the cameras and everything, the speakers. There's also speakers in these, and the speakers blow my mind at how clear they are. There's cameras as well in the corners, so that's why they're a bit bigger there. With the transition lenses, I can wear them out in sunlight and they will automatically tint, which is nice, but it does make them pretty pricey. I think these are like $300 and something, which, like, for Ray-Bans anyway, Ray-Ban glasses are usually $250, $200. Yeah, like, you know, spending an extra $100 and you have all this sort of smart functionality is pretty cool. The cameras on them are okay. Like, it's not the best camera quality, but they're pretty good. It's just a good way to capture some memories. The only thing is, like I mentioned in some of my other videos, is that I'm not usually that careful with sunglasses. I sort of just chuck them around. But with these, I have to be careful now because they're so expensive and they're so pricey. But thankfully, they do come with this nice case to protect them and charge them. So yeah, I don't have to worry too much about throwing them around. I can throw them around in the case. And then finally, the most recent addition to my travel everyday carry, the Steam Deck. So this Steam Deck is the LCD version. I've actually had it pretty much since release. I bought it just after release. However, it just sat in my cupboard unused. And then recently, I went to Singapore and I just thought to myself, okay, 7-hour flight, 8-hour flight. How can I kill that flight without actually just watching movies and TV shows? Because I feel like I kind of just become a bit restless. So I just thought, okay, let's give the Steam Deck another go. And wow, I don't understand why I didn't use this thing earlier. I have been sleeping on this thing because the Steam Deck right now, it's incredible. Like, it's such a good device. I'm really glad I picked it up again. I'm really glad I started playing with it again because I've realized that this is such a good way just to kill some time, especially when you're on a flight. The size of it it's pretty big, I'll be honest. I think that's my major issue with it, the size of the thing. I do wish it was smaller. But when I was using this thing on my flight, it actually reminded me of being a kid again. It reminded me of being in the back of my parents' car or on a flight or something and playing my Game Boy. Playing my little Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, whatever it might be. It reminded me of that time again. And it just made me fall back in love with gaming on a handheld device again. Because I've had the Nintendo Switch and stuff, and I've never really used the Nintendo Switch that much. I might use it here and there, but since picking up this thing and with all the amazing games that are available on Steam, yeah, I feel like there's just an abundance of things that you can play. And the great thing about Steam is that you can get games for super cheap, you know, unlike Nintendo where you've got to spend like 50-60 bucks for each game. On here, you get games on sale all the time. You can add a game to a wish list and just wait for it to come on sale. So some of the games I've been playing include Brotato, which is awesome by the way, Deep Rock Survivor, Hades, Inside, Limbo. I've also downloaded a few new games recently, Cult of Lamb, Somerville, Little Nightmares. I actually still need to play them. But it's just so good that I can have all of these games on here just ready to go to play whenever I want. And in a, like I said, it's not really that compact, but in a package that obviously is much more compact than a PC or a PS5. And I think for the money and for what you get and the compatibility as well with Steam, this is so worth it. Like, if you've been considering a Steam Deck, if you're someone who has Steam games, a Steam library, I would so recommend this. It is an awesome device and it's quickly gone to the top of my favorites of when it comes to my everyday carry. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I will leave links to everything down in the description below. If you guys have any suggestions for everyday carry or any products that you're currently using, please leave them in the comments below. I'm always looking for new things to add to my everyday carry. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and subscribe for more.